We're back again. Back with another reaction video. So somebody got pitched and sent on a first-class ticket to the pearly gates of heaven, one way, over a 60, not 1,000, not a 60-100, not even a 600, a £60 debt. Imagine that. Imagine losing your life over a £60 debt.
It all began with a desperate, drug-fueled couple who made a reckless
so crackheads basically.
decision. Instead of paying their dealer the £60 they owed, they chose to rob him. What seemed like an easy way out quickly spiraled into something far darker. The theft set off a violent chain reaction, and soon the couple found themselves marked for revenge. And when the local drug gang put a bounty on their heads, betrayal came from the last place they expected: a close friend. The information they shared would set off a brutal sequence of events, and by the time it was all over, a mother's life would be brutally cut short, left to die alone with a stranger. It was the 18th of November 2019, a cold Monday night in Blackburn. A couple battling drug addiction had just come up with a reckless plan: to rob their own dealer. Alison McBlain, 36 years old and a mother of one, and her partner, 28-year-old Christian Rivers, decided to order £60 worth of drugs from a local organised crime group known on the streets as the Bully Line, a network run by 26-year-old John Chatwood. After talking it through, the pair committed. They walked into a nearby shop and used a payphone to place their order. Moments later, the gang's runner, 19-year-old Caleb Connolly, arrived. Christian and Alison acted fast, seizing the drugs from Connolly by force before fleeing the scene. News of the robbery quickly reached John Chatwood, and he was furious. This wasn't just about £60 worth of drugs, it was about respect, reputation, and control. He wasn't going to let Alison and Christian get away with it.
Yeah, he couldn't let them get away with it. Do you know why? Forget about the £60. If the crackheads got away with it, they would tell the other crackheads, and now the other crackheads would try and rob his workers and that. So yeah, he had to make an example of them.
Caleb Connolly felt the same. Humiliated and angry, he was determined to make them pay. It was the following evening. Alison and Christian were out again. Alison needed to pick up her methadone prescription from a local pharmacy. For a short while, the couple split up, with Christian staying nearby as Alison made her way to the chemist. Outside the pharmacy, Alison unexpectedly bumped into a friend, Caris Poynton. The two chatted briefly, just small talk on the surface.
I bet the friend snaked her and told her where she was. I bet the friend snaked the girl, the crackhead, and then told like obviously the guys that were after that, I just saw my friend.
But underneath, Caris knew far more than she was letting on. Word of the robbery had already spread through Blackburn, and Caris was well aware of the reward being offered through the Bully Line: drugs or cash in exchange
What did I say?
for information on Alison and Christian's whereabouts. Despite their friendship, temptation won. The moment Alison left, Caris made her move. Footage captured her picking up the phone inside the pharmacy, dialing the drug line, and giving up Alison's location. Moments later, the camera caught her standing in the doorway, watching as Alison walked away, completely unaware she'd just been betrayed by someone she called a friend. This was the call the gang had been waiting for.
No honor amongst thieves, or in this case, crackheads.
Without hesitation, Caleb Connolly jumped into the driver's seat of a car, joined by Dean Kyam, Joshua Titterington, and a 16-year-old boy named Jason. Their destination was set. They were heading straight for Alison. By this point, Alison had reunited with her partner, Christian Rivers. The two were walking together, completely unaware of the danger closing in. As Connolly turned onto the street Karras had told him, he spotted them. Without warning, he turned the car's headlights off and accelerated. The car mounted the pavement at terrifying speed, striking both Allison and Christian. The impact threw them into the air and sent them crashing to the ground. Christian somehow managed to get back on his feet, despite suffering serious injuries to his hands and feet. Disoriented and bleeding, he looked around for Allison, but she was nowhere in sight. Then he saw her. Allison was lying motionless on the ground, having been thrown nearly 30 feet from the point of impact. Pedestrians who had witnessed the attack rushed to help. One man approached Allison's body alongside Christian. Seeing her not moving, Christian looked at the bystander and said, "Look after her, I can't hang around," before he staggered away into the night.
Some boyfriend, boy.
A short distance from the scene, Christian took shelter in a nearby takeaway, shaken and injured, avoiding speaking to anyone, including the police. By now, police and paramedics were racing to reports of a hit and run. When they arrived, they found Allison McBlain in what first responders described as a catastrophic condition. She had sustained more than 20 separate injuries across her body. Paramedics worked desperately at the scene before rushing her to the Royal Blackburn Hospital, where she was placed in critical care. Meanwhile, Caleb Connolly and the 3 passengers who had been with him fled the area. They drove the car to a secluded alleyway roughly a mile from where the attack had taken place and abandoned it. Then they scattered, each of them disappearing on foot in different directions. Within half an hour of the attack, the gang had regrouped at John Chatwood's house. They discussed what had happened and quickly agreed on one thing. The car
gonna burn the car.
Had to be destroyed. Connolly and another member of the group returned to where they'd left it. They set fire to the interior, watching as flames consumed the vehicle before fleeing the scene once more into the darkness. Police were already on the hunt for the vehicle involved in the hit and run. After reviewing CCTV footage from the scene, investigators quickly realized this wasn't a random accident. It was a deliberate, targeted attack. Then came a major break. A patrolling traffic officer spotted a car still smoking in a narrow alleyway around a mile from the crash site. The flames had mostly died down, but smoke was still rising from the shell. Acting quickly, the officer began extinguishing the remaining flame. What the gang hadn't realized was that they'd failed to destroy the evidence completely, and that mistake would become the investigation's biggest lead. Officers traced the vehicle's registration plate to an owner living outside the county, and it soon became clear the car had been running on false number plates, leading investigators to a dead end. But inside the burnt-out Fiat Punto, a small clue had survived. A partially intact shopping receipt and a chocolate wrapper lying in the footwell, one of the few areas untouched by the fire. That receipt turned out to be a breakthrough. Though scorched and damaged, it revealed the store name, time, and location, all vital details.
Pound stretcher!
Using CCTV from around the area where the car was abandoned, detectives began tracing the gang's movements backwards. Their route led them directly to John Chatwood's house. By the next morning, Chatwood was under arrest, the first member of the group to be taken in. But several suspects were still outstanding. Following the lead from the receipt, officers went to the Pound Stretcher store where the purchase had been made. There, CCTV footage provided the crucial identification. Caleb Connolly, seen getting out of the driver's side of the Punto wearing the same clothes he'd been spotted in when dumping and burning the vehicle. The front seat passenger was also quickly identified. He had recently injured his foot and was on crutches. and CCTV showed a man fleeing the scene, hobbling away in the same manner. Hospital records soon confirmed the match, leading to his arrest. The rear seat passengers proved harder to identify. Detectives worked with multiple agencies, including social services, to piece together the final links in the chain. Eventually, every member of the gang was named, located, and arrested. One by one, the net closed. By this point, Alison McBlain's life was dependent on machines. Doctors at Royal Blackburn Hospital did everything they could, but her injuries were too severe. Soon after, Alison, a devoted mother to a 12-year-old son, was
devoted to crack,
pronounced dead. Not long after, police received an anonymous
that photo there was before the crack.
Phone call from a woman claiming to have information about the attack. Someone who said she'd been with Alison moments before it happened. The caller refused to give her name and had blocked her number.
Yeah, that's a lie because Alison was on her own. Well, she was with the guy.
Eventually, detectives persuaded her to talk. It was Caris Poynton. Officers traced Caris and went to her home, where she was arrested. Her role in the events leading to Alison's death was soon uncovered. Caris, 28, who also battled drug addiction,
how can you look like that and be 28 years old?
Had been the one to tip off the gang. Disturbingly, she even attended Alison's funeral, hiding the truth about her
That's fucked.
involvement for weeks before finally being charged and remanded in custody. Meanwhile, Christian Rivers, Alison's partner and the second victim of the attack, was located. After some time, he agreed to cooperate with investigators, helping to piece together the final events of that night. In court, the 16-year-old boy, who could not be named for legal reasons, testified at Preston Crown Court. He told the jury that he was a backseat passenger in the Fiat Punto that struck Alison and Christian, along with Caleb Connolly, Dean Kayum, and Joshua Titterington. The teenager said that Titterington, someone he knew but wasn't close friends with, had threatened to kill him if he spoke to police.
Ah, bullshit. Them lies there, that old chestnut. Hold on 1 second.
He told the jury that he was a backseat passenger in the Fiat Punto that struck Alison and Christian, along with Caleb Connolly, Dean Kayum, and Joshua Titterington. The teenager said that Titterington, someone he knew but wasn't close friends with, had threatened to kill him if he spoke to police. He claimed he had no idea Connolly was involved in drug dealing or that the car had been used for a revenge attack linked to the bully line. When questioned, he told the court he'd been in the Punto the evening before the collision to meet Alison and Christian, but hadn't seen what happened. When asked whether Connolly mentioned anything about the stolen drugs, the boy stated that he didn't mention it straight away, but later that night, he had brought it up in a text. He added that he had no idea Connolly was dealing. Describing the night of the attack, the teens said they had first driven to Asda before picking up Dean Kayum from John Chatwood's house. He then said Josh had a knife with him when he got in the car and he was stroking it. He told the court he was intimidated and scared. Then Josh started shouting, saying, "We're all going to jail," and that it was because I'd grass on them all.
"14 years over a crackhead." She got 13 years for setting up the murder. 17.5 years. 20 years. That is crazy. Anyway, that's it for today, man. Stay wise. Ton, though.